Hello everyone and welcome back to another All Elite Wrestling Dynamite review. Today we're going to be looking at the Dynamite 300 show, and yeah, I had time to watch another AEW Dynamite and another solid show. I thought this was another solid show with some good wrestling and some really enjoyable storytelling, especially with the main storylines that I'm kind of invested in. So the opening segment, Hangman Page, he challenged Jon Moxley to a Texas death match, and the Death Riders would come out alongside Moxley and Marina Shafir. Moxley would cut a promo on Hangman, telling him why he is not going to give him his match. So he basically says no at first, giving Hangman what he wants. But then eventually Claudio and Wheeler Yuta would come out and attack Hangman. Claudio Castagnoli, who's made his this is kind of like his return, because I hadn't seen him for a couple of weeks. Nice to see Claudio back. But Hangman would, after they would attack Hangman, they would go to leave through the crowd with Moxley and Marina Shafir. Hangman would get back up and encourage them to come back because he's still standing up. But then the Ops would come to Hangman's defense, and then Marina Shafir would come from behind with the the briefcase. Hangman would stop her attack, and he would once again challenge Moxley again to give him the death match in Texas. And then Moxley finally agrees to give him the match. And then as Hangman was preparing to leave, he goes on the apron, says a few words, and he says that he's willing to do whatever it takes. And then he gets back into the ring and then delivers the buckshot lariat to Marina Shafir. I think that's the most active I've seen Marina Shafir. Like, she slapped Hangman in the face a few times, and I think this is the first legit bump I've actually ever seen her take. So, for someone who barely doesn't wrestle, yeah. But, yeah, nice way to make a Hangman look somewhat strong. And I also love the reaction on the face of everybody, like from Mox to Yuta and Claudio, because they were all shocked to see a Hangman hit a woman. That is something we would not see in WWE, I can guarantee you that. Mercedes Moné and Mina Shirakawa, they compete for the TBS Championship. I will be honest, I was surprised that Toni Storm kept her word, saying that she would not interfere, because I was kind of fully expecting it, because whenever I hear someone say that they promised something, it's usually, oh yeah, they're not going to keep their promise. But Toni Storm kept her promise that she'd stay out of the match and not interfere, and she kept her word, so kudos. This match was great. This was a very good match, and it's a little bit sad that they won't do more women's matches. Like, this is the only women's match on the card. They didn't do a whole lot with the women on Dynamite. This is the only real one they were doing here. It was a nice back and forth, and Mercedes would kick out of Mina Shirakawa's finishing move, the Mina driver. And the fans would chant the usual thing at refs whenever they kick out, the ref effed up thing, and a part of me is just like, not the ref's fault that Mercedes kicked out. That's what my point of view was. I was like, it's not the ref's fault that Mercedes got her shoulder up. Like, what? Did you want him to keep counting her despite that her shoulders popped up? It's the usual. The fans usually chant that a lot at referees, they usually chant that at referees whenever someone they don't like kicks out. But we got a dueling Mina and CEO chants throughout the match. It was a really fun match. Multiple meteoras, like both ladies were doing bumps on the outside, meteoras, and even other big moves, like Mina suplexed Mercedes on the floor at one point, and even DDT'd her on the concrete floor as well. Even Mercedes' finishing moves were blocked, from the Moneymaker to the Statement Maker. But then Mercedes would get a roll-up pin on her, would get a roll-up pin on Shirakawa to win the match and remain TBS champion. I mean, like, come on. Like, Mercedes is not going to be dropping the TBS title on a random Dynamite. I feel like this is the thing that I think because WWE fans are too used to seeing that happen on WWE TV, now they're getting annoyed that Dynamite doesn't do that. I'm like, this ain't WWE. Like, sure, if this match was on a WWE show, absolutely Mina Shirakawa would have won, because we all know WWE likes doing title changes on Raw and SmackDown episodes. But to me, Mercedes' first loss needs to be like a really big deal. Her first loss needs to be really important, and when she does eventually take that first loss, it needs to elevate somebody. That's the thing, like, it needs to elevate someone. Like, it really needs to elevate the person. It's going to elevate the person that beats her. And honestly, I think Mina could be that person. You know, Mina, was a real threat to Mercedes' title. I think Mina could be that person if they want to. There are options they could go with. I mean, hell, like, if they can get that bloody Ring of Honor belt off of Athena, if they can get that stupid Ring of Honor thing with women's title off Athena, they could have Athena dethrone Mercedes for the TBS title. I mean, I'm pretty sure people would like that. Like, again, there are options. So, yeah, I think Mercedes' first loss needs to be a big deal and not thrown away on an episode of Dynamite. And the person that does eventually beat her should be elevated as well. MJF, Brody King, AR Fox, and Anthony Bowens in a fatal 4-way to enter the Casino Battle Royal. This was another fine match. This Brody King guy, he's pretty impressive. He was very impressive when I was watching. He used to be with Malachi Black in the House of Black, and I can see why people really rate this guy. He's a big man, and he's pretty good. But MJF would ultimately win. He would use his Salt of the Earth finisher on it was either AR Fox or Anthony Bowers. It was one of the two. And he tapped him out and got the win. Mark Briscoe would come out after the match, and he is wearing a MJF has a tiny pickle shirt. Kosher pickle, I should say, it's pretty hilarious. And they even show people in the signs. They even show people in the crowd holding a sign saying MJF is a pickle or something along those lines. It was pretty funny. So, Mark Briscoe pretty much tells MJF that he congratulates him on winning his qualifying match into the Casino Battle Royal, but it just means that they are going to be starting in the Casino Battle Royal because they both won. Because Mark Briscoe and MJF both won, they draw number 1 and number 2. Again, it kind of feels weird that, again, it is very similar to a Royal Rumble, but it's very different from a Royal Rumble. But I don't know. I don't think I really like the idea of them just telling us who number 1 and number 2 are in the Casino Battle Royal. Like, win this match and you will be number 1 in the Casino Battle Royal. I personally think, this is just my opinion, I personally think if you win the chance to enter the Casino Battle Royal, you should pick what number you want. Like, why would you want to start number 1? I don't know. Maybe I just don't understand the rules. Maybe that's the answer. Maybe the answer is I don't understand the rules of a Casino Battle Royal, and that could be correct. But yeah, he wants to have a talkie. Those are Mark Briscoe's words. Talkie with MJF next week, and he tells him that he hopes he has some nuts between his tiny pickle, so then he can talk to him next week. And then the crowd can chant Tiny Pickle at MJF. Really funny. Really funny stuff there. I don't know why. Really funny stuff there. And also, another hilarious thing. I'm not going to say it, but But MJF, every time something bad was happening to him, every time something bad would happen to him, he would just swear. He went WTF at one point in the match. Like, he was just, like, swearing whenever something bad would happen to him in the match. I have to say, that is pretty funny. It was pretty funny. That's what I'm saying. MJF is so entertaining, and yet people want to be upset that he's in the Hurt Syndicate. I mean, like, he's so funny. He's so entertaining. You just can't... as I said, he's one of the only reasons why I care about the Hurt Syndicate. I couldn't care less about Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. Never really had... yes, I used to be a fan of Shelton Benjamin. Like, during his prime. Like, I used to be a big fan of him in his prime. Like, in early 2000s, like mid-2000s, when he was in that singles run in 2004, 2006. Like, yeah, I was a fan of him then. But not much now. Same thing with Bobby Lashley. Like, I used to like him, but not much anymore because, reasons. But yeah. And as for MVP, was never the biggest MVP guy, but I was not. But I wasn't afraid to commend him for some of his entertaining work that he did in WWE, despite. Especially in his early time, in his first run. Like, his second run, he's just been mainly a manager, but mainly when he was a full-time wrestler in 2005, 2006, and up until he got released before he made his second comeback in, 2020. But yeah, Jetstar of Kevin Knight and Speedball Mike Bailey would come out and try to get some revenge on the Hurt Syndicate. Hurt Syndicate would beat them up, and then Kevin Knight basically said that, mentioned Shelton Benjamin's mama, and he says that your mama must not have taught you how to fight because you hit like a bitch. That was a pretty cool line, but yeah, interesting little matchup there. So I'm very curious to see what goes on there. The Young Bucks team up with Konosuke Tanahashi. Oh, I'm not going to try and say that. Konosuke. I'll say Konosuke. I'm not going to try to say this guy's last name because it sounds like I'm going to say take a shitter. Because that's what I'm going to say. But yeah, Young Bucks team up with a Japanese guy that I don't know how to say his name. They took on Paragon of Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, and Bandito in a 6-man tag. Fine little 6-man tag here. Man, they are having Paragon lose a lot. Like, I don't think I've seen them win, and I can't say I guess I can understand why, maybe. But yeah, I've definitely been seeing them lose quite a fair lot lately. So yeah, it's fine. I don't really care for 6-man tags. I think they're a little bit lame. I've never really liked them, even in WWE sometimes. Like, they're supposed to be chaotic. But yeah, this one's a bit of a pass for me. Didn't really care. Will Ospreay and Swerve took on Beast Mortis and Dralistico. He kind of looks like Sin Cara, but it's not really him. It's not Mystico. And I will say, I didn't mean to make that comment that I made about Beast Mortis being in the main event in my last Dynamite review. I guess it was just a habit. Habit of speaking, but no, he wasn't in the main event last week because of Mercedes. That is what a typical Mercedes hater would say, and you all know I am not one, and you know I am not one. So I will apologize if I did upset anyone for saying that. So I do take back that comment. I do take back that comment that I did say. That's what a typical hater would say, not a person that is a fan. But whatever. But whatever. What's done is done. I can't change anything. I can't change what I've said. I can't change what I've said. It is what it is. But anyway, this tag match was okay. The tag match was okay. Ospreay and Swerve would obviously win the match here because why would they lose? Why would they lose? So yeah, decent little tag match there, and it is what it is. Okada takes on Kota Ibushi in the main event. I don't know if the Continental title's on the line. It probably was, because they tend to. Because AEW, like, yes, I do complain about WWE having title matches defending on... Because I'm pretty sure some of you have noticed that Mercedes defended her title against Mina. And I've criticized WWE for having title matches on Dynamite episodes. I've criticized WWE for having title matches on Raw and SmackDown. Here's the thing, AEW has always done this. Like, AEW's always been doing this, and that's the reason why I don't complain. It's not because I hate it, it's not because I like it. It's because, well, AEW have always done it. Like, even during the times where I wasn't really watching it as much, I would, like, every time I'd see the graphics, I would notice that they would always do title matches. So, it's something they've always done. It's something they've always done. So, it's not me saying, oh, I'm not complaining about it because it's AEW and I complain about it because it's WWE. But AEW's always been doing it. AEW's been doing it long before WWE did it. Like, AEW's been doing it long before WWE started doing it recently, ever since Triple H took over. But Okada won. He beat Ibushi in the main event. And Don Callis' family were going to beat the crap out of him, but until Kenny Omega made the save, and the Golden Lovers, apparently that's their team name, because I saw people in the comments say it, the Golden Lovers of Kenny Omega and Ibushi reunite as they pretty much stand tall. They pretty much stand tall here. And yeah, fun little main event. Fun little main event there. Okada and Ibushi, really fun match there. Oh god, July 12th is gonna be July 13th, I guess for me, is gonna be a crazy day of wrestling. There's gonna be a lot of wrestling. So, I don't know. I mean, I guess I will probably just watch All In. Like, I wouldn't really care for Saturday night's main event, and maybe I will watch Great American Bash for Mariah May's debut, but really, maybe that'd be it. Don't really have any other reason to watch. I don't know. Maybe just for July 13th, I will watch All In and then Evolution. And also, I do want to, speaking of Evolution, I do want to say I did make a mistake by saying that Evolution's on the same day as Great American Bash. It's the day after. It's July 13th. That'll be July 14th for me. So I do apologize for making that mistake. I guess that's what happens when you're in a ranty mood. You know, you just make mistakes. So Evolution is the day after Great American Bash and All In. It's the day after those pay-per-views. So yeah, that's all I've got for this review, guys. I thought this was a solid Dynamite episode. The good stuff, obviously Mina and Mercedes. Hangman segment with the Death Riders. MJF, MJF and his stuff with Mark Briscoe, pretty good. And yeah, that's really it. That's really all I liked from the show. So it's really all I enjoyed, and I thought the show was solid. So let me know your thoughts down below, and be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you all next time.